structures. The more we make private meaning more accessible, the more we make collective meaning more accessible, the organization learns. So organizational learning in this scenario lies within the accessible meaning structures. So if the organization is learning, you're asking yourself how much knowledge is accessible. That's what you're really asking. Accessible for challenge, accessible for others to learn from, accessible for discussion. There is collective knowledge, as I mentioned, that is not accessible for challenge. This is how we do it. It is that. Nobody challenges it. There's private meaning that you may have that you don't like sharing. So to be able to learn as an organization, we need to make this accessible. We need to make private accessible, we need to make collective accessible and increase the inner circle, the middle circle. The inner one is the wrong one. This said, you may have different types of organizations. In some organizations, like tradition-bound organizations, public sector organizations. Well, now today, public sector is not the new public sectors, they are not tradition-bound. But in tradition-bound organizations, especially in university environments sometimes, you have more collective meaning than private meaning, than accessible meaning. This is more. There is more rules and regulations about how things are done. More of that, less people are sharing, less people are making information accessible or knowledge accessible for us to discuss. So there's private and there's very little private, but there is more a focus on more collective knowledge. Because we want everybody, it's tradition bound, we want everybody to follow the tradition. So you have to make sure that the knowledge or the meaning structures has to become more collective. You have to share it. And the more we share the collective meaning, that means that we have more meaning structures. It's not that it's wrong, but I'm just showing how knowledge exists in organizations. So if you want the people to learn more, you need to make sure that this is made accessible for discussion. Now let's look at consultancies. One organization that has a lot of independent workers. Like you was giving an example, that marketing officers will come and they have different types of knowledge about the client. So this is what happens. There is more private meaning. Everybody wants to make a score, so you don't talk about it, you don't share it. You're all fighting for. You know that the one who is able to close the deal gets the commission. So why should I tell you what I mean? More private meaning structures. Very little collective, very relatively small accessible meaning structures. More private meaning structures. More private meaning structures. You don't share it, you don't tell others what you know, so they keep it to themselves. The last one is where we want to be. This is where we want to be. We want the learning organization. The learning organization is the one who is making private more accessible and collective more accessible. And to make it more accessible, it needs to be in an environment in which teamwork is supported, an environment in which people know they can share knowledge without being reprimanded, or they can share knowledge and it can be accepted. They know that, you see, one of the reasons why people don't like sharing is either because somebody would have a that this is not good enough, or I've said it a lot of times, you didn't do anything of it, so I won't say it anymore. Or the competitive position may be threatened. Maybe you are not looking for a job, a particular promotion. So if I share what I know now, it may affect my ability to go up. Yeah.
You said something I didn't hear.
I was saying that sometimes people don't share. First, because of the fact that it will threaten their position. Then, can't remember the other ones. Sorry.
Competition at the Rexel.
Competition.
Competition. What I said.
Maybe you are looking for a particular position.
Yeah, that is if you threaten your position.
Yeah, to get
The other one is remanded.
You know, you're demanded.
yes.
Sometimes you may say something, they'll just shut you down that we don't want it. And you may end up, you see, sometimes knowledge also affects someone. You sharing the knowledge, not the knowledge, is affecting